This is the video review of Absolute Superman issues 1 through 7. This is the Volume 1 collection, so there's going to be a lot to this, but this is also, obviously, Volume 7. Not Volume 7, Issue 7. So we'll put that off to the side, talk about the Last Dust of Krypton story. This is like my first Superman story. I bought this when I bought Superman #1, because I was just very curious. Oh my gosh, that looks so cool. Especially with like all the dust right here. I remember when this circulated around. Just loved that cape. But yeah, no, Superman, Absolute Superman is a retelling. I know, it's like the third version of the Superman origin I've done. It's a retelling of the origin of Superman. Just showcasing how different Krypton is. Like, the House of El is very different. Like, this is not just the House of El crest. It's just for any bottom working class character. And they're called Men of Steel because they take their life into their own hands. And we get to see, like, just Jor-El deal with the ramifications of Krypton dying, and then goes to the modern day. You see the Peacemakers and how they deal with people. Then you see Superman, or Kal, just, talking to people. He's so sad and depressed most of the time. Is that Chris? I know one of them is named Christopher Smith, and Superman has an issue with him. But yeah, no. So something that happens throughout this story is the comparison between how the Kryptonians acted towards their planet and how people of Earth act towards their planet. And that's just like the running theme throughout these first 6 issues. See the Superman suit. Soul is like which is like the suit itself. Soul is the suit. Talks about how we shouldn't be helping. Let's just leave the people here to their own demise. I like how they're showing Superman's heat vision as something he cannot control. Reminds me a little bit of Smallville. But yeah, he like completely drains himself, and then we meet Lois, who he talks to quite heavily. Oh. We see a little bit of a facility, and we see Brainiac watching Superman. We see the Kent farm. They don't talk too much about the Kents, but the relationship between Kal and the Kents is very different, and you'll see why in a minute. What is his name? What is her name? I can't remember her name. But yeah, you see Jor-El and his family just talking with each other. And then you see a young Kal-El and Krypto with the loving family. He looks to be at least 10. I would assume 12. So that's something major. Then we see... I think this right here is kind of like a little commentary from DC about the use of AI, because Kal wrote a paper by hand, by himself, without using AI, and he's getting scalded for it. But remind you, this is in a school setting. So yeah. Back to modern day. You see Lois and Kal talking, and then you see the suit thing trying to break the handcuffs. Military and the Peacemakers are after them. And Superman decides to defend Lois while they're shooting at him. Because he knows that she'll get hurt in the process. Which is a very classic Superman thing to do. So he decides to be like, you know what? Drop the dust, and let's leap on out of here. She's still very concerned that he's a threat. So they leap on out of there, and he proceeds to continue to ignore Lois as he tries to get the cuffs off. And also tries to tell her, hey, calm down, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not a threat. He's like, I just want to be left alone, but also I want to do the right thing. You see, like, while handcuffed to each other, they save a whole bunch of families. You can see the freezing breath. And Lois has an inner monologue of what she thinks of Superman. But yeah, she thinks very positively that when she goes to write her report, she refuses to use the Brainiac AI or just use Brainiac and writes it herself, which we know in Absolute Evil is kind of a red flag for them. And we see Jor-El and his wife create the Superman suit, Soul, as well as work on the ship, while Krypto and Kal are playing. We see the end of Lois's report. We see Superman leaving stuff in the Omega Men. We'll come back to the Omega Men in a minute. We see this is Chris. See him just be so upset that he just blasts civilians. Is he flying there? I never noticed. Oh, you see the family talk about how he got scolded in his school. And just like a very proud family, they accept it, embrace it, say keep doing it. Then you see all the animals and crap die. Krypton is slowly falling apart. Jor-El got captured in a prison by the High Council. His wife goes to save him. That is a cool suit. I have a feeling that's going to get turned into the Steel suit in this universe, if they do that. So then they decide to leave with as many people as they can. See, Ma can't reaching out for Superman. Then we see Lois talking to a whole bunch of people that Superman has interacted with and saved. And how she wants to contact Superman. And they all talk to her. It's like, what are you going to do with him if you met him? And some of them are like, we hope he kills you all. Lois talks to her dad. And he calls her crazy. See Chris just have issues and talking with the Brainiac. Lois meets the Omega Man. That's Jimmy. Jimmy is a terrorist. So yeah, eventually the Peacemakers show up, start causing some issues, and then Superman shows up. He tells her to stop looking for her, and then the Peacemakers come after him. He freezes them all again. Jimmy is like, hey, we could use your help. He just flies off. And Jimmy gets scalded by, what is her name? I don't remember. See, Chris get upset again. He just murders a whole bunch of people. Yeah, this is like the end of Krypton where everyone's trying to leave. Planet is blowing up. Superman goes after Chris back on Earth. And Superman just decides that he's had enough violence and atrocity, so he just leaves. After figuring out where he is. And this is the actual leave of Krypton here. So, yeah. Of course, as always, the ship gets blown up, and it's just Superman on his way home. On his way to Earth. So he's just left all alone. We see Superman, I think, on the moon? Or just in... Oh, no, he's in Kansas. He's in Smallville. Okay. So, yeah. Then we see Superman coming to Earth for the first time. It's been months. And it talks about how his blood feels. Because Superman in past stories has always been too young to explain the feeling of re-entering Earth. But he said, like, what? Yeah, he feels like he's burning. And then the next couple pages are just him and living with the Kents and learning English through Soul. He never gets adopted by the Kents. He never gets called Clark. But they do try to kind of sort of raise him kind of like a son. And then the Peacemakers show up. And the Kents tell Superman to just surrender to them, so he just flies off. Now he's got nowhere to live. So Lois shows up to like that hospital years later where Martha is. And then we get to see Ra's al Ghul in his entirety. So yeah, that was issues 1 through 6. Now moving on to issue 7. This is like the first major Brainiac issue. So we see the Omega Men just kind of raiding a facility in Nevada. Just kind of wrecking house, and then something happens to where their entire body just kind of dies. And then we see Brainiac for the first time. I know I've already shown him off in Absolute Evil, but still. Oh. We get to see him like experimenting on people. And we get to like see the origin of Brainiac. What he was supposed to be doing, and you would see him complete that goal. So now then we see like Brainiac is like kind of like a hive mind as well. See him take over back to the modern day. We see like more of the hive mind of Brainiacs. And he starts asking about Superman. And they all are like aware of Krypton, but it's like the description of Superman doesn't make sense. To say it's not possible. So they call him crazy. He's like, I'm not crazy. And then I think that's kryptonite. So, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do stuff. I'll try to track down issues 8 through whatever the current issue is. But yeah, for now, that's all. So for these two together, 8.5 out of 10.